So we're here with Dr. Vonda Wright in Orlando, and we're kind of we're fighting over who's going to host who, because you have a mega successful podcast that's taken off recently. Tell us about your podcast.
Well, you know what? I've had this podcast called Hot for Your Health since, 2016. And it was conceived on the concept that if I could fascinate people with their health, that they would pay attention, we could change their lives, we could use amazing tech to help them. So the original Hot for Your Health was, this is what's hot in health. This is the coolest ideas. This is what's going to be transformational. But now it's almost like a little double entendre, because as I care for people in midlife, right, at my population, outside of orthopedic surgery, as well as inside, because I'm an orthopedic surgeon. But in orthopedics, I treat everybody from 11 to dead. But in my precision longevity practice, where I take people to optimum health, then peak performance, and then make a longevity plan for them, the ages are usually 35 to 65 is the range. So now dealing with midlife people, and I have a very large female audience, the Hot for Your Health is not only what's hot in technology that's going to transform your lives, but honestly, midlife can get really hot for women who've lost their estrogen and it's walked out the door. So it's just funny little play on words. But I talk to fascinating people about what's new in science, what's new in their lives. Sometimes I just get on there and talk about subjects that are important to me. And so I met you through discussions of course, NMN and the role it plays in generating NAD plus in our bodies. So I'm glad to talk to you again.
I have mostly a male audience. We talked about this.
That's right.
But yeah. I have women, and they say, hey, talk about women issues and how NMN can help us. And so every time you and I kick this around, I said, we got to talk about menopause. We got to talk about women. And as a man, I want to understand, women better, my wife better, and understand what she's going through, so I can try to, hey, why don't you take this vitamin, or why don't you do this?
Absolutely.
It's important to us, of course, as well as men. So tell us, because you're recommending or suggesting NMN to like a lot of people. I don't know what percentage of your patients, but tell us about what success stories you're having, how it's going for women, dealing with menopause.
Well, I don't have to tell your audience the role of NMN in energy production within the body, the role it plays as a building block for NAD plus, and how much our mitochondria love it. But I'll tell you my NMN story. I may have told it before when I was a guest with Dr. Shi on your podcast. But you know what? As I was postmenopausal, I'm 57. When I went through menopause at 51, I would find myself in the afternoons. I'm a morning person. I like to get up at 5. I really do. I like to be up early. I like to go, 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 go. My best work, creative work, is done until about 2:00 in the afternoon. From 2:00 on, I can probably build you a house. But what I would find at that point is about 3:00, I was reaching for more caffeine. I mean, I was really caffeinating and all the stupid stuff we do in the afternoon to get our energy up, because I was just done, right? And then I would go home after work, whatever time that got to be, eat something. And if I dared sat down on the couch, I was done. And so that energy lull, and I couldn't be as focused and energetic in my work, but a lot in my family, right? I think my daughter, who's 16 now, will have memories of me, just my mother was always tired, right? Which I hate that. But so then I became aware of the role of NMN in making NAD from the scientists we both know, Dr. Jin Shi. And so I had my intracellular as well as my circulating NAD plus measured via the test that he produces. And in young people, 20, 30-year-olds, if we classify some certain age as young, NMN NAD levels are upwards of 60, 80 microliters. When I had mine first tested, it was 18. My NAD plus level was 18. So I was grossly underfueled for more than 400 reactions in our body, right? So how could I possibly be in peak performance when I didn't have the fuel? And it may have been, part of my energy deficit could have been a calorie deficit too, because at that time I just ate as ate can. I'm a surgeon. I'm used to going. I would go whole days and not eat until dinner. Well, that's a miserable way to live. But and with NAD plus deficit. So I started, before I even started taking in adequate calories, I started taking in a supplement of NMN that would allow me to make more NAD plus, and my levels went up to 40. I didn't measure right away. Again, about 3 months later, my lab values were up to 40, but my energy level was remarkable. I can feel now my level is upwards of 50. I just keep taking this stuff. I'm never going off. I feel like I'm afraid to take it on vacation because the form that I take is a white powder and I don't want to have to explain myself. But I feel a drop in my energy level when I don't take it. But now I am being really authentic with you. It's about 3:00 in the afternoon right now. Look at me. I'm like, I have all the energy I need. I just worked out right before this. I power lift. So I just did a full workout. I'm all energetic now, and I am good to go until 9:30 when I purposely start my bedtime routine because I need to slow down. And the energy that I have right now isn't like a hyperactivity, shaky energy. It's just that I feel, if there was such a thing as an energy meter, I feel full. My thermometer is full of energy. So it sounds like, I'm being some kind of NMN cheerleader, but it really has changed my life.
I think people love hearing these stories and in the different ways that, you're impacted. I found out recently, I have over 10,000 people taking NMN with my code, the Pulse on this channel with my, I haven't been making very many videos lately, to be honest with you. Lack of energy, but because I'm restarting a music career that I worked on 35 years ago. And I can't believe what I'm getting done. I've got half the album done in the past 2 weeks.
Wow.
A lot of the songs aren't being written now, but there's songs that I've collected dating back 35 years ago, all the way up until 2-3 years ago when I started to take NMN, I started writing again. And now I've just found the focus and the energy. For me, it's not just energy, it's this focus. I'm able to sit there in front of the screen for hours on end, which I just haven't been able to do. So for me, it's the relationship with the computer because, the software, the way that we work. Even if I was working in an old studio years ago without a computer, I'd be dealing with sequencers. It's electronic music that I work on. So
I was just going to ask you, right? What are you doing? Because I know you were in production before, and now you're producing music.
Really easy to say. It's very Depeche Mode sounding.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Who wants to hear a record that maybe Depeche Mode would have made? I have that sound in my voice when I sing. So it's something I embraced a long time ago. And I actually had a hit song in Argentina, and I didn't.
Oh my gosh!
20 years, and it still gets played on the radio and in clubs there, and backyard parties, and even weddings. And I've heard from over 100 DJs, like directly, telling me what this one particular song meant to them. And I just kept, I just decided, wouldn't it be fun to go back to Buenos Aires and do a show? And it was just this thought, I found out a few years back about this song Much Better doing so well in Argentina. Well, you find out you had a hit song somewhere in any country.
You want to go.
I had limited success elsewhere with music, but I never had what I would call a hit song. And for a song to be playing still 35 years later, pretty amazing to me. So I can't wait.
Is it under your name or did you have a pseudonym? Because I'm going to look it up.
It's called Profits on TV is the name of the project. And the song is called Much Better. And all you'll find on YouTube is a bunch of different DJs that posted it because it was only ever released on vinyl. And with my newfound Edamen youthfulness, I re-recorded it from start to scratch. And I sent it to some people who were big fans of the song, and they're like, you nailed it. And I sang the whole thing again because I didn't have master tapes of the original. This was all reel to reel. They're all gone from years ago. I mean, I did get the master recordings back, but I didn't get the actual tracks back. So I had to recreate the entire thing, and without Edamen, forget it. Like, forget it. I wouldn't have been able to get the voice right. It's not. So I'm finding out through this project all these different avenues, all these different skills that have come back for me. Being able to sit and produce, having that focus, the creativity, the passion for it has come back. So I'm just discovering, I call it NMN brain, and what my NMN brain does for me, and in a creative way, it's been shocking to me. So when I love hearing from you because you work with so many different types of patients. And to turn it right around back, I didn't mean to get off on that rant, but when I'm trying to tell you why I'm looking for different things that may have surprised you, or for you to at least be on the lookout of these different things, because I love hearing from people that experience similar benefits or return to self, as I refer to it.
Yeah. Well, it certainly has helped fuel my midlife, and I am lifting as hard now as I'm about to say something that I caught myself. I'm lifting as hard now as I did in high school because I lifted with the high school football team. I am working back up to the weights I did when I was 18. But for instance, I deadlifted 175 pounds this week, and my high school deadlift was 200. So I'm not knocking over the world with powerlifting, but 40 years later, I just feel so confident that the next 40 years are going to be great, just because I'm taking responsibility. I think something I was going to talk to you about today was, you have a fitness story, and I think a lot of people, especially as I talk to more and more people, we feel like we should blame other people for how we feel in midlife. Oh, my genes are bad. Oh, doctors aren't telling me, or something. And sometimes I like to just say, but who's going to take responsibility? Not in a blaming way. Right. We're not blaming people, but we're saying, okay, aging is the most natural thing we do from the minute of our conception. We're here, X number 57 or whatever years later. Who's responsible for the next 40 years? Me. And what am I going to do about it? Yeah. Well, NMN, lifting weights, zone 2, you just told me the packet of things that you send to the people you care about. And I have my own as you said, that I was making a list. Well, in the morning, I take this, and at night I take this, and it's taking responsibility